Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're walking in Memphis. The topic of this Walking in Memphis, CWA Wrestling from December 14th, 1985. And for what we're going to review, there is going to be a link here in the description of this video. There are a few things I'm going to say before we get into this. First off, this seems to be an incomplete show. I picked these totally at random, so I didn't want to totally rule it out just because it was an incomplete show, because there's so little footage that we're going to run into these. It also seems that it may be misnamed. The date I'm giving is based off of what the show was The show was promoted as or titled as. That's the date that was on the video. It seems to be at least pieces of two different shows, and we'll talk about why when we get there. But it could be more. It could be as many as 4 or 5. It does say it's all from one date. It is an incomplete show. With that being said, we're going to jump in. If you haven't seen my show, we grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. We grade everything from segment to segment, so basically from commercial break to commercial break. We're jumping right in. First off, we get a music video set to the song Demolition Man with Austin Idol and Jerry the King Lawler. Pretty awesome video. Song I didn't really remember, and I forget exactly who sings it, but it's a pretty decent 80s song. We lead right into that. We get a promo with Jerry the King Lawler, which obviously, it's Jerry the King Lawler. All his promos are pretty much great. After that, we go right into a promo for the Freedom Fighters, which it really excited me when I seen this. Not because they were going to be great. There's a lot here that was amazing. If you're not familiar with the Freedom Fighters, it's Jim Hellwig, aka The Ultimate Warrior, and Steve Borden, aka Sting. And this was very, very early in their career. This was even before they would become the Blade Runners, which you see that turn happen here. In the process of the interview, Hellwig talks some trash about Phil Hickerson and what Phil Hickerson looks like. If you don't know, Phil was a bigger guy, a heavier man. He didn't have a bodybuilding body, which brings out Hickerson seems to be pretty upset at the time. And I've heard conflicting rumors that Hickerson may have shot on the Warrior in what we are going to see here, or maybe in an arena show, or even backstage. There may have been legitimate blows. I do know it is well reported that Hellwig and Hickerson did not get along at all. The extent of that, I don't know how much is kayfabe, how much is story, how much is true. Which leads us right into a ring with Hickerson versus Hellwig, which pretty decent match. Hickerson, to me, he's a guy that's kind of been lost in time. He's a really great worker, in my opinion, a great talker, especially when you look at his stuff from the 70s. He's fantastic, especially, I loved his tag team, him and Condrey as a team, Dennis Condrey. I think they were absolutely amazing. He does carry Hellwig to something decent here. We end up with a DQ because Steve Borden, aka Sting, gets involved, which brings out Steve Kern. They run them off. For that whole segment, I'm giving that all a 4. Some really great stuff here, seeing young Sting and the Ultimate Warrior, the Lawler and Idol video, Lawler promo, Hickerson, who I love. It was all pretty good stuff to start the show. Now, this is where I think, and this is exactly why I think, this was multiple different shows. We go to what would seem to be a commercial where the tape stops. You could tell it stopped and then they started recording again. But we pick up a video of a match from the Memphis Coliseum where the Freedom Fighters injure Phil Hickerson. It's obvious that injury happened after what we just seen with the match between him and Hellwig, because afterwards we get a promo with the Freedom Fighters and with their new manager Buddy Wayne, who, if you're familiar with Nick Wayne and you're not familiar with the name, that is Nick Wayne's father. Buddy Wayne basically is saying that he's going to be the manager of the Freedom Fighters. So this is where I think, and I'm almost 100% certain, this is multiple shows pieced together. Again, I'm just going for the review, I'm going with what the video says. It's reported to be the date it was reported to be on. So there's all that. That leads into another video, and this is again another reason why I think it was 2 shows. It definitely was at least 2 shows. We get another music video, which they seem to only put one in a show, or if they did more than one, it would only focus on the same guy once, with just Austin Idol with the song Kid Is Hot Tonight, which was another great promo. I mean, when you see highlight videos of a guy like Austin Idol, Jerry Lawler, even if they would have done one on Hickerson, they did fantastic highlight videos. For all of that, I'm giving that segment a 4. Next up, we get a video, and this may be a third. I seem to think it's a third show. Maybe that this was highlights from all 3. We get a video of Rick Casey and Dutch Mantel cutting a promo on each other, which cuts us to a video with Rick Casey beating Dutch Mantel. And then coming back from that, we have Rick Casey, and he's in studio, so seemingly that was a video from a week before this, which leads us to another match with Rick Casey and Dutch Mantel, which basically ends up the exact same way. Casey picks up a win. Both matches he picks up a win because Bill Dundee gets involved. The Fantastics come down to help out Casey to run off the heels. For all that segment, even though it was kind of weird and felt a little bit disjointed, I'm giving that a 4. Then we go right into the finals of the show. We get an interview with Bill Dundee. We see Coco Beware, who's dressed up, or Coco Ware at the time. He's dressed up as Santa Claus, and he's giving out gifts to the kids in the audience. Dundee has a sack of coins, and he's rolling pennies into the crowd, which is kind of awesome and funny at the same time. Dundee ends up attacking Coco. Another great segment here that leads us right into, and I'm putting these both together because they were, even though they were separation, I'm going to put them together. Leads us to what seems to be about half of a Purge promo, where we only get to see Jonathan Boyd talk, which at the time he was the only one talking for the group. This was after Luke and Butch had left. It was a him. It's escaping my mind. I think you'll see in the picture here the different sheep herders, but it's escaping my mind the other guys' names. The promo seems to get cut off. For those two, I'm giving both segments I'm tying into one, I'm giving that a 3. Overall, for what seemed to be pieces of different shows, maybe as many as 4 different shows, at least 2, maybe 3 or 4, I thought it was pretty good stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to still do it, even though it wasn't all one continuous show. It is all on this one video, so definitely check it out. I do recommend checking it out. I'm going to give the whole thing a 4. I thought it was some really good stuff. Like I said, I love seeing Hickerson in action. I love seeing Dutch Mantel in action. I've said it a million times. If you've watched any of my Walking In Memphis shows, Dutch is one of my favorite Memphis wrestlers. Him and Eddie Gilbert are my 2 favorites. So I love all the stuff with Dutch. I love the stuff with Lawler and Idol. Seeing Young Sting and Young Ultimate Warrior, just amazing stuff here. I thought it was a 4. Now, all that being said, there's a couple things I want to address, and you may have seen this in my video. I'm taping these all at the same time, so you may have seen this in the video yesterday if you watched my It Came From The Network video. There's a couple of things I want to address right here at the end. First off, on a personal level, I want to thank everybody that reached out to me last week. I live in Central Florida. My area was affected by Hurricane Ian, which is why you didn't see any videos released last week. If you paid attention to my community page, you would have seen I posted updates on there to keep everybody kind of abreast of what was happening. I personally didn't suffer too much damage. I lost one piece of siding for a major Category 4 hurricane, and the amount of damage it done, I am very grateful. I thank God for that. There's a lot of people that are hurting very badly in my state, especially in the Fort Myers, Sanibel Island area, Hardy County, which I have a lot of friends that live in Hardy County. Luckily, all of them are doing well, but there are other people where their houses got flooded. They've lost everything they ever had. So if you are inclined, please reach out to the Red Cross. Donate if you're so inclined. It would really help the people in my state that are really suffering. And I want to say thank you to everybody who reached out. I want to say thank you to everybody who prayed for us. I really do appreciate that. The second thing, and this on a good note, before I recorded these videos, about an hour or so ago, a little bit over an hour now, I was checking my YouTube like I always do. I like to check to see if there's any comments, anything new. I reached a milestone, and this is all thanks to you guys out there. We reached 1,000 subscribers. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot to some of the bigger channels, the Cultaholics, the Going in Raws, the What Cultures. For me, though, this is a milestone I've been trying to reach. And it's all because of you guys, and I appreciate it so much. You will never understand how much I truly appreciate your help in getting to this milestone. There's a lot of things that this is going to help with. First, I applied to be monetized, which means that there'll be commercials in my videos. I know, I'm sorry, they'll be there. However, the reason why I want to have commercials on my videos is because then it'll start earning me money for these videos. And this is not 100% selfish. Yes, of course, I would love to make it to the point where this was my job and I could quit my day job and do just this. That would be amazing. However, I'm not gonna be upset if I never get there. I will always make these videos whether I'm making a dime or I'm making $1 million. The main reason I want to be monetized is so I can make improvements, so I could get better lighting, so I could get better editing software, a better laptop that maybe produces the show faster. There's a lot of things I want to get to improve the show, and that is definitely going to help me. And 1,000,000%, this is all you guys. This has nothing to do with me. I put out the videos. It's your responses. And you don't know how humbling and how grateful I am that there's 1,000 people that not only said, I like this video, but I'm also going to subscribe to this video because I'd love to see other things that this guy's going to do. That's, to me, that is amazing. And whether you watched 1 minute of my shows, watched every minute of every show I've ever done, are here for just Walking in Memphis, or here for just It Came From the Networks or the Top 10s or anything else, I appreciate it so much. You guys will never really know how much I really do appreciate it. I love seeing the comments in my videos. I try to respond to as many as I can. Sometimes some slip between the cracks. I try to respond to as many comments as possible. It's all because I want an open discourse with you guys. And I want to say thank you so much for all of your help getting here. Now, before I get into my last thing, please smash that subscribe, like, comment, share, all that stuff. Help me keep growing. Let's go on to that next milestone. Let's get to 2,000, and then 5,000, and then 10,000. That would be amazing. You guys are awesome out there. Let's help me get that way. If you made it this far, let's go ahead and put sheep herders in the comments. There is one more thing I do want to touch on, and I know this is going long, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. I brought it up on my video. If hopefully you watch that too, my It Came From the Network, but I can't not bring it up on all of my videos this week. And that is, I want to say rest in peace to the great Antonio Inoki, one of the true legends in the professional wrestling. I talked about it at length at the end of my It Came From the Network video I just released. I recommend going there if you want to hear me talk about it a little longer. I didn't go deep in depth because I could talk for 4 hours about Antonio Inoki, and I would just be scratching the surface on how important he was to both pro wrestling and to MMA, and to the country of Japan even. I just wanted to put this here as a thank you to Mr. Inoki. Thank you for everything you did. All the groundwork that you laid for what, to me, New Japan Pro Wrestling, to me, is my favorite promotion right now. It's been my favorite promotion for a very long time. I just want to say thank you. Your impact is going to be felt decades after this. You're one of those people that transcended professional wrestling. You transcended entertainment. You're Antonio Inoki. There's very little I could say more than that. You're just so important to the world of wrestling and what I love. And I just want to say thank you to end this video. Rest in peace, Mr. Inoki-san. I can't say it again anymore, and I'll say it to the end of my life. Thank you so much for everything you provided to us, the fans. Thank you. You're an amazing human, and I just wanted to say that before the end. And I know I'm getting a little bit choked up. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and we've been walking in Memphis.